Tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou katoa. First, let me congratulate the Mayor, Committee of Auckland, Simon, for actually the drive that's now picking up to think about Auckland as a city of innovation. It's overdue. We've got a lot of the basic elements to do it, but we also have some gaps that need to be addressed. There's a limit of what I can say about the report which I delivered to the Minister only a couple of weeks ago, but the reality is that New Zealand needs to use the growth and innovation and technology-based innovation as a core element in its pathway ahead to get some economic and social growth. But while governments can do so much by setting the frameworks, the R&D grants, etc., the general system, the reality is around the world, cities are the units of innovation, not countries. And therefore, we need to focus today on what are the elements and why is it that cities are the units of science and technology-based innovation. It happens simply because effective innovation requires effective communication and relationships between a vast range of actors, from business, the big end of town, the small end of town, from academia, from all sorts of other players that are in an effective ecosystem. And what we need to build in Auckland is the ecosystem, which is still too fragmented, and that's where the role of the Committee for Auckland, the proposed Innovation Technology Council, the Mayor's Office, and so forth come together. If you look at the cities I would want to compare Auckland to, like Geneva, like Waterloo in Canada, like Tel Aviv, like Bangalore, like Toronto, like Paris, and particularly Paris with Station F there, they've all worked hard to create that innovation ecosystem with all the actors involved rather than territorial, this is my bit or your bit. And that, I think, is the key difference. And that's why economists talk about agglomeration effects. Agglomeration effects happen only in cities of about 1.5 to 2 million in population or above. They have to be cities that are globally connected. But the reason that they work is that they are big enough for the ecosystem to come together, the elements to come together. Agglomeration effects mean that the amount of GDP produced per capita is disproportionately higher in such innovation-focused cities. It should be in the order of 10% or more, differential above. But depending on the numbers, we sit at somewhere between 3 and 5%. We've got a long way to go before we can get there. Why does agglomeration work? It works simply because relationships can be sustained at the interpersonal level between people with different skills, because we all know that innovation happens at the interface between skills, between knowledge systems, and so forth. And as it grows, it self-reinforces itself, because people leave big firms to set up their own company. Own companies merge to create bigger companies. It goes on and it becomes a fast-forward system. You get the situation like in Waterloo, Canada, where the investment gurus sitting in New York just literally ring Waterloo to say, what can we put our money into? Because they know that there's a hub of innovation there working. So why has Auckland not yet got there? That, I think, is where we've got, all said and done, much of the substrate. We have enough people, so well-educated people, they're diverse, and that diversity is, I think, a real strength. We're well-connected in terms of our own population with the two biggest growing economies in the world, India and China. and we need to build off those. The Mayor and I have been talking about that a lot. We host about 50% of the country's intellectual assets, given the 3 universities in town, the CRIs that are based here, soon the public research organisations. It's the financial capital of New Zealand. It's the manufacturing base for New Zealand. And we already host several innovation incubators. We have a growing med tech sector, and we have a lot of startup companies in the digital space and the gaming space. And Rocket Lab has shown the success we can have in deep technologies. But we still don't yet show the innovation, the agglomeration effect we would want to have, and which I think we're now seeing in this room, the drive to actually make it happen. Why have we not done so? First of all, until very recently, I don't think Auckland's made its case to central government about what government needs to do to help Auckland succeed in this space. But I think in the developments that were done for the regional plan, we've seen Auckland now starting to take a lead in saying it can show a greater effect. Secondly, I hate to say it, but there's an awful lot of people in this room who are remarkably insular. We do not have the effort to bring together the different parties, the universities, the defence sector, the private sector, the investors, etc., in a way that brings the stakeholders together strategically. That's what the Grid AKL was originally intended to do. I don't think it's brought all the people into the room, and I think there's a lot that can be done. Those comparative cities I've talked about all have different kinds of mechanisms, whether physical or digital, actually make sure that the relationships are developed. It's at the end a giant dating game, let's be honest. It's about relationships being formed and sustained. The Innovation Council is an important first step, but it will only work if it aims for complete inclusivity and works closely with the Mayor's office to advocate in Wellington, and works well in turn to foster that sort of dating game that's needed in Auckland to actually see the different players, the universities, the venture capitalists, the lawyers, the IP lawyers, the small companies, the big end of town, the international players all come together. And then I'm going to put it last, there will be an initiatives in advanced technology announced by government. Auckland is key to that, and we need to wait to see how the government actually puts it together, but Auckland must be ready to jump when those announcements are made. And then on top of that, there are things that Auckland could do that only a mayor and the council can do. What do we do to attract more large companies like Apple to be based in Auckland? What can the city itself do? Could it give rates relief to companies that move to have R&D-based centres in Auckland? What else could it do that it can do without waiting for central government? Because I actually think, given that Auckland can get its shit together, and Sir Wellington may not be able to, it might be a lot easier for Auckland to take the lead on initiatives which actually work to attract R&D intensive companies to take advantage of the fact that Auckland can be a global city. It has the global connectivity, it has the scale, it has the necessary infrastructure. It just needs to get its stuff together, and I'll leave it at that. Thank you very much.